Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me here. I just moved to Franklin, Kentucky, and finally got my studio kind of back in order. So I thought I'd show it to you right quick. Trying to get back to doing some YouTube videos and such. But while I'm here, I thought of telling you a story. Well, I'll just show you the studio right quick. Here's 4 cameras I got mounted in here, and they're all motion tracking. And so anybody likes to play guitar, sing songs, play keyboards, I'd sure like to jam with you and play some music. Anyway, this is a story about Frank Zappa. When I first started to work at Choco, I would say this year is 1971. I was out on the road. We were somewhere on the way. I think we were doing a Grand Funk Railroad show somewhere west of Dallas. And we got the call that Frank Zappa wanted to audition our PA. So Morris Latta, a wonderful friend of mine, I think it was his first outing at Choco. We drove straight on to L.A. At a high school gymnasium that Frank Zappa had rented. We were able to get in there. They had left it unlocked. We were able to get in there, I think, about 10 o'clock. We had everything set up and ready at noon, which is when Frank showed up. And just a wonderful person. I had no idea what to expect. It seemed like everything he'd say to me, I'd want to laugh at it. I didn't know if he was serious or what. And so clever, and I could tell so very intelligent, too, as well. So this was a pleasure. Well, once we got the PA up, and I'm kind of still plugging it in when Frank walked in. And being this room, this gymnasium, we didn't have a crew. There was nobody on staff from the high school. And we could not find the distribution box to plug our power into and our distribution that we could, well, it's what should be done in the first place. And secondly, to deal with any ground loops, that would certainly help. And that's exactly what we had, was a pretty serious ground loop, because we had to plug our PA cabinets into the wall outlets of that gym. And there was a buzz. 60 cycle thing going on that I just could, is very loud for what most 60 cycles we deal with. And so I was doing everything I knew. 3 to 2 adapters, ground lifts on each outlet, try all 4 with ground lifts, try one with the ground lift, whatever. I was just doing everything imaginable to get this right. Well, Frank walked up to me a couple of times and said, "Buford, is there any way I can help? Do you need anything?" And I was blown away with that. And I said, "No, I think I got this. I know just a minute that hum's going to go away. I'm going to get it fixed. So if you don't mind bearing with me." He said, "Absolutely not." And he said, "Just tell me what you might need." And so I had to take a break from this hum thing. I got on the phone and called Dallas. We set up a conference call, and it was Jack Maxson, Rusty Boucher, Kenny Whitwright, and I think Jim Barnhurst was on that call too. And I was describing to them what my day had been like. And I said, "I just can't figure this thing out." And so they gave me a couple of recommendations, but at the same time they said, "Man, you've tried everything there is to try. And being that you don't have an electrician there to work with you, that's even more difficult." So I took these ideas. I said, "Well, let me get back on it and get it going. Frank's waiting on me." So I went back inside, tried more things, and did not resolve the hum. So I asked Frank if he'd go up on stage and talk in his monitors so he could at least hear the sound quality of the monitors, and he gladly did, and he went up, and I just remember him saying something about when he's speaking into the microphone for me. He said, "What's that grill over those speakers down there? Is that to keep little furry animals from going in there and hiding and sneaking around?" I was just laughing like crazy out at the console, and it seemed like everything he said would be like that. And so anyway, I got him a good monitor sound with a hum on it. And he said, "Do you want me to call the band now?" And I says, "Well, please give me a couple more hours." Well, here it is about 3 or 4 in the afternoon now. And yeah, we had a couple of hours to suss this problem out and just couldn't get it done. So I said, "Okay." We discussed it. Come the end of the time, like I said, he was very friendly, very polite, not frustrated about anything. And at the end of the day, he came up to me and said, Buford, I've been watching you bust your ass all morning long. He says the bottom line is there is a problem that was not resolved. I had no comeback, but I'm sorry. You know, I wished it wasn't that way. I wish that I could have gotten rid of that hum. It would have made our credit much better. It wasn't a Shoko problem at all. And I think for me, too, I still had a couple of years under my belt. I understood the way the AC system had to be set up. But that was Frank's response. And I think the people that, and he's very polite, shook my hand and left. And I thought, wow, you know, if you lose something you want really bad, that's the way to lose it. For somebody not to be, you know, he didn't condemn me in any way for what we had done or had accomplished during that session. He was very polite about it. And I thought, well, if it's going to happen, I prefer it happening that way. So there we went on our way. And in fact, I think we got in the truck that night and drove to, I'm pretty sure it was Phoenix, and did a show with Traffic and was trying to do the same thing. And I'll tell you that in the next video, if you want to. That's Traffic with Steve Windley. So, nonetheless, thank you very much, and we'll see you later.